The helicopter was in a standard pattern. If you live in the DC area, you'll see helicopters up and down the river. This flight pattern is seen oftentimes when you live in DC. This was a standard flight pattern last night as well. The American Airlines flight coming into land was in a standard flight pattern as it was coming into DCA. This was not unusual with a military aircraft flying the river and aircraft landing at DCA. Safety is our expectation. Everyone who flies in American skies expects that we fly safely, that when you depart an airport, you get to your destination. So there was not a breakdown, if that's your question, in communication between the military helicopter and the American Airlines flight. There was communication between the aircraft and the tower. I would say the helicopter was aware that there was a plane in the area. To back up what the President said, what I've seen so far, do I think this was preventable? Absolutely. Sean Duffy here, Secretary of Transportation. We wish we were gathering for different purposes today. I just want to let you know that the Department of Transportation, the FAA, along with the White House, President Trump, local, state, and federal partners, all working together on this incident in unison. I couldn't be prouder of this team that's been assembled, working tirelessly. Mayor, I want to thank you specifically for your work. A few details I'd like to give all of you, and some of you reported this, but last night, if you live in the DC area, you would know that this was a clear night last night. The helicopter was in a standard pattern. If you live in the DC area, you'll see helicopters up and down the river. This flight pattern is seen oftentimes when you live in DC. This was a standard flight pattern last night as well. The American Airlines flight coming into land was in a standard flight pattern as it was coming into DCA. So this was not unusual with a military aircraft flying the river and aircraft landing at DCA. And again, if you live in the area, you'll see that frequently with those two aircraft working together. As many of you have reported, we have located the two aircrafts. The fuselage of the American Airlines plane was inverted. It's been located in 3 different sections. It's in about waist-deep water, so that recovery is going to go on today. As that recovery takes place of the fuselage of the aircraft, NTSB is going to start to analyze that aircraft, partner with the FAA with all of the information we have to get the best results possible for the American people. I would just say that safety is our expectation. Everyone who flies in American skies expects that we fly safely, that when you depart an airport, you get to your destination. That didn't happen last night. And I know that President Trump, his administration, the FAA, the DOT, we will not rest until we have answers for the families and for the flying public. You should be assured that when you fly, you're safe. So the question is about the victims. The NTSB is going to lead that portion of the contact with the victims. I believe American is going to be involved with that as well, and so will the FAA and the Department of Transportation.
Secretary Duffy,
we're going to take some questions over here. 1, 2, 3, 4.
okay. First,
Yep.
First, Secretary Duffy, the flight path that the helicopter was on, is that a common flight path?
In regard to the military, I don't have information in regard to the experience of the military pilots. I would just note that this was classified as a training mission. Sometimes people could think that a training mission is someone who is inexperienced in the cockpit. We call these missions that are flown in the DC area as our pilots are getting hours and experience training missions. So don't read into that we had how many hours the pilots on the military aircraft had. And you had another question for me that was?
Last night the President had said that this could be prevented, and also that air traffic control, questioning why they may not have communicated with the helicopter telling them what to do.
So we are going to wait for all the information to come in from this vantage point, but to back up what the President said, what I've seen so far, do I think this was preventable? Absolutely.